Have you ever met someone who felt like destiny, only to realize later they weren't meant to stay? It's one of the most confusing emotional experiences we can have. You meet someone, and something in your soul lights up. The connection feels cosmic, fated, and undeniable. You tell yourself, this must be the one. But then it unravels. They pull away, or you do. The relationship falls apart, leaving behind a strange mix of pain, longing, and an unshakable question. Why would the universe bring me someone who wasn't meant for me? According to Jungian psychology, these encounters aren't accidents. They are psychological mirrors, projections of parts of yourself that you haven't yet faced or integrated. Jung believed that the people we are drawn to most intensely often embody aspects of our own unconscious. They awaken something hidden, something unfinished within us. The universe isn't playing games with your heart. It's guiding you towards self-realization through the language of relationships. When you meet someone and feel that electric connection, it's not always about love in the ordinary sense. It's often about recognition. Some part of your soul sees itself reflected in them. Maybe it's their confidence, their mystery, their vulnerability. Something about them awakens what you've buried or forgotten in yourself. In Jungian terms, this is an encounter with your anima or animus, the inner feminine or masculine energy within your psyche. These energies are archetypal, ancient, and powerful. They pull us toward people who represent what we need to integrate to become whole. That's why it can feel so magnetic. You're not just falling for another person. You're falling for a disowned part of your own soul. And that's also why it can feel so painful when it ends. Because when that mirror disappears, you're left staring at your own reflection in the emptiness. You're forced to face what was always yours, waiting to be understood. Sometimes, the universe sends you someone not so you can keep them, but so you can see yourself. These connections act as catalysts, not conclusions. They arrive to shake something loose, to break open a part of your psyche that's been asleep. That's why they feel spiritual, intense, even supernatural. Because they are, but not in the way we often think. Imagine this. You've spent years avoiding your own emotional wounds. You distract yourself, chase goals, stay busy. Then one day, you meet someone who seems to see right through you. You feel safe, seen, alive. But what's really happening is that your unconscious is calling your attention to what needs healing. That person becomes the vessel through which your soul whispers, "Wake up." And yet, we mistake that awakening for eternal love. We believe it's meant to last forever because the feeling is so rare. But spiritual teachers and depth psychologists alike remind us that not every connection is meant to endure. Some are meant to transform. They are spiritual encounters disguised as relationships. Have you ever noticed how, after such a person leaves your life, you start to change? You might become more self-aware, more reflective, even more cautious, but also more awake. It's as if their presence ignited a fire that continues to burn inside you, guiding you toward deeper understanding. That's the universe at work. It doesn't always give you what you want. It gives you what you need for your evolution. Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." These not meant to be relationships are how fate speaks. They show you your patterns, your fears, your shadow, the parts of you you'd rather not see. Maybe you always fall for emotionally unavailable people, chase intensity instead of peace, or confuse love with validation. The person who breaks your heart often exposes the truth about yourself that you most need to see. And that realization can be devastating, because it means the pain was never punishment. It was an initiation. The universe wasn't trying to hurt you. It was trying to wake you. That heartbreak was a teacher in disguise. Think about the timing of that person's arrival. They often appear when you're on the edge of change, when your old identity is crumbling and something new is trying to emerge. They mirror your potential, your pain, and your power all at once. That's why you can't forget them easily. They represent the part of you you're still learning to embrace. In Jungian terms, these encounters are part of what he called individuation, the lifelong process of becoming your true self. Every relationship, especially the painful ones, serves that goal. The universe sends people not to complete you, but to reveal what's missing within you. When you mistake that revelation for romantic destiny, you suffer. But when you recognize it as soul work, everything changes. You start to see that love isn't always about possession. Sometimes it's about reflection. Not every person is meant to stay, but every encounter is meant to teach. The ones who awaken us the most are often the ones who leave. And their absence is not the end. It's the beginning of your integration. It's in that loss that real growth happens. Because after they're gone, you begin to embody the very qualities you admired in them. You become what they represented. You start to reclaim your own strength, your sensitivity, your depth. What once felt like cosmic punishment turns into divine preparation. The universe wasn't denying you love. It was showing you where to find it within yourself. And that's the paradox of these fated connections. They break you open so you can stop seeking externally what can only be found internally. They show you the mirror, and then they disappear, leaving you with the task of completing the reflection. When you finally understand that, the pain begins to shift. You stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What did this awaken in me?" That's the point where heartbreak becomes transformation. The person who once felt like your soulmate becomes your greatest mirror, showing you exactly what you needed to see to grow. This is how the universe teaches through love. It speaks in symbols, in synchronicities, in people who seem to appear out of nowhere and leave just as suddenly. It's not cruel. It's precise. It's purposeful. In Jungian psychology, these relationships are sometimes referred to as numinous experiences, moments when the divine breaks into your life and shakes your foundations. You can't explain why it feels so powerful or why it lingers even after it ends. That's because it's not just emotional. It's archetypal. The encounter taps into ancient forces within you, stirring the collective unconscious. You feel it not only in your mind, but in your very soul. And when it ends, your first instinct might be to chase that feeling again, to find another person who can make you feel that alive. But here's the truth. The aliveness was never in them. It was in you. They simply awakened it. The task now is to nurture that energy within yourself, to live from it, to realize that what you saw in them was a reflection of your own potential. That's the completion of the cycle. First, projection. Then, recognition. Finally, integration. You project your hidden parts onto another person. You recognize what they mirror, and then you integrate it, bringing that energy home. That's how you stop repeating the same painful patterns in love. That's how you become whole. The universe doesn't send you people to torment you. It sends you mirrors, teachers, and catalysts. Some stay to build with you. Others leave to rebuild you. And though it might not feel like it in the moment, every ending carries a seed of evolution. Every heartbreak contains wisdom if you're brave enough to listen. You might wonder, but if the universe wanted to teach me, why couldn't it do it without pain? The answer is simple. Transformation rarely happens in comfort. Jung once wrote that there is no coming to consciousness without pain. Pain breaks the shell of who you thought you were, so something deeper can emerge. Those you're not meant to be with often bring the pain that wakes you up. Maybe you've met someone who felt like home, yet their presence burned. Maybe you tried to hold on to them, hoping they'd change or that timing would align. But the truth is, they were never meant to stay. They were meant to reveal. To reveal your attachment, your expectations, your fears. And when they leave, it's because their purpose is fulfilled. You've learned what your soul needed from that connection. When you see love through that lens, even heartbreak becomes sacred. You realize that the universe doesn't take away what's meant for you. It only removes what keeps you from yourself. Every person who leaves clears the space for a deeper connection with life, with truth, with your own essence. So instead of asking, why did I lose them? Try asking, what did I find in myself because of them? Maybe you discovered your strength, your capacity to forgive, your ability to feel deeply. Maybe you learned to stop settling for half-hearted love. Maybe you learned that peace is more valuable than passion that burns you alive. The universe always speaks through experience, not explanation. These relationships that seem faded but fleeting, they're like initiations into higher awareness. They stretch your heart until it breaks, and in that breaking, you discover its true size. You learn that love isn't about ownership, it's about awakening. And sometimes, awakening requires loss. Eventually, you'll meet people who don't trigger your wounds, but reflect your healing. You'll attract what matches your integration, not your fragmentation. That's when you'll understand why those earlier connections couldn't last. They belong to an earlier version of you, the one who needed to learn, to see, to awaken. That's the beauty of Jung's view. It turns pain into meaning. It shows you that love and loss are both part of the same sacred journey toward wholeness. Every soul you meet plays a role in that unfolding. No one is random. No one is wasted. Even those who hurt you were part of your evolution. So when someone enters your life and shakes your world, don't rush to label it as the one or a mistake. Ask instead, what part of me is being mirrored right now? That question alone can change your entire relationship with love. Because love stops being something that happens to you. It becomes something that awakens you. In the end, the universe doesn't send you who you're meant to be with. It sends you who you're meant to become because of them. And when you understand that, you stop clinging. You start flowing. You stop chasing lessons and start living the wisdom they gave you. So let me ask you, have you ever met someone who changed you deeply but wasn't meant to stay? What did that experience teach you about yourself? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear it. And if this message resonated with you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe for more insights on psychology, love, and self-awareness. Remember, not every love story is meant to last, but every one is meant to transform you.